I am here to continue these vulnerable conversations that I've been having on the couches of Los Angeles, about to discuss a topic that I am very excited to bring to all of you. It is sexual ambiguity, aka bisexuality. And to help me with this are some pros.
I'm like super amateur bisexual.
I'm already messing this up. Sarah Klegman, zodiac sign, Scorpio. Passions, Hala. Sexual orientation, most importantly, bisexual.
But there's also
We're gonna
other...
get to that.
Okay, great.
Yeah. Next, we have Michael Lane. Zodiac sign, Sagittarius. Passions, storytelling. Sexual orientation. Was that a question?
Everyone thinks it's a question enough. Am I right? Am I right? No one believes us. Okay.
Ooh, we're going to get into good things soon. Hi, I'm Becky Bordeaux. My zodiac sign is Gemini with a Virgo rising and a moon in Sagittarius. My passions are facilitating meaningful dialogue. And my sexual orientation is that I've never kissed a girl, but I'm as open to conversations about this as a 7-Eleven. So my first question is a question that I feel like straight people aren't asked. When did you know?
It's never about not knowing, because it was always a part of you.
Yeah.
It's about when it becomes defined to you, that when you first hear the word bisexual, you're like, oh, I think I'm that.
I remember there was just like this moment, and I was like chilling at the monkey bars, and I was looking at a group of girls and a group of boys, and you just have that sort of similar nervousness. For me, like, the sexual attraction comes secondary. I think the thing that's important to note about bisexual people, even though it is a category, it's all so different. People are like, oh, so you're definitely just gay?
Yeah.
Like, it's just like a stepping stone.
Exactly. Or you're just confused,
Yeah.
or all those things. And I just like, I remember...
How's your home life?
Mm-hmm.
If you're lesbian, if you're gay, you have to deal with all of this bullshit. And being out is a statement, too. It's part of the movement. It's supporting. It's all that stuff. Being bi... It's since it's so misunderstood. Coming out as bi is it's a little less straightforward than coming out as gay. Most people in most of America don't know a bisexual person, an out bisexual person. They know a confused guy who used it as a stepping stone, who eventually turned out to be gay. They know a girl in college who is experimenting her sexuality. They know emotional women who have done that and like broken the many hearts of like lovely lesbians everywhere. It gets a really bad rep, but because of that, and because you also have the option of having a hetero relationship, some of the gay community is like, oh, you're not a real gay because you get to pretend that you're not whenever you want. So you don't have to deal with it all the time. My answer to that is, then we have to live half closeted? Like, shouldn't you know what that's like? If any part of you is closeted, that's an awful feeling.
Your bisexuality only goes as far until you're in a relationship. Once you're in a relationship, you're no longer bi. You're now either straight or gay.
The thing that's focused most on bisexuality is the sexuality part. The thing about bisexuality that's so beautiful is it's just like this love for human connection.
That's one of those stereotypes, is that if you're bisexual, you're hypersexual.
Probably.
I'm in a bisexual sandwich. I would like to hear what that looks like for you. Do you feel like you're just deemed this hypersexual person that's never monogamous and is just...
I wish I was that cool. That sounds exhausting. But wanting to be in an open relationship and being bisexual are not mutually exclusive. False stereotypes about bisexuality are that we can't be satiated by just one person.
I am the extreme other side of it, because especially I know my needs, and I know that not one person will ever satisfy those needs, not because of you, but because of me. I am just as awkward with flirting with guys that I am with flirting with women. Like, it's ridiculous.
Yeah,
like,
but I just now meeting other people that are bi that are talking about it, it's like there's nothing out there.
It's already tough intellectualizing jealousy when you're with a man, for me, in a monogamous hetero relationships. I can only imagine what it can be like.
Everything that a straight person goes through or a gay person goes through, we go through double time.
Yes.
And then we question ourselves because we're going through it double time.
Right. It's very gray.
What is pansexuality versus bisexuality?
Bisexuality is a sexual attraction to both genders, right? Pansexuality is the ability to love anyone and any combination of gender identity, anything thereof. Like, are you a human? Fantastic.
Because I'm pansexual too, but I just say bisexual.
Because everyone's like, fuck you when you say
yeah,
bisexual.
exactly. Because it's already confusing enough.
Yeah.
I don't care what equipment you came with or switched out or whatnot. If you're a cool person, I want to be with you.
Yeah. I'd recently heard that bisexual people are more evolved in that we're all on a spectrum of bisexuality, and you guys are just more in tune with it. I should think about this. And then I just started looking at girls and being like, am I sexually attracted? I can look at a girl and be like, she's beautiful. I want her butt. But I don't want to, like, cuddle up to her and I don't see her.
You want to have her butt.
I want to have her butt.
Right, so, like, here's, like, straight island, and here's gay island, and they're connected by a river. And you just sort of float around in here. It's like a really sexy, sexy river. I mean, they're definitely like the Kinsey scale, right? There's definitely like people that, ways to sort of define that a little further.
It's been hard to even figure out how straight people think.
We have a tough time figuring that out too.
Well, because like I don't know how to think about just being attracted to one person. Like that confuses me. There's this idea with bisexuality or pansexuality. It's like, oh, you just want everything. You can't have everything. And I'm just like, that is such a weird statement to make about just our physical connection. Yeah. I've never had to question it myself in a way that I think other people do.
Do you find that you're more heavily sexually attracted to one gender and more emotionally attracted to another?
It's really the person. I feel like some days, like you might wake up and be like, I could really go for like a Chris Hemsworth type. And then you might be like, I could really go for
Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Yeah, totally.
It's something huge that you've taught me. You're like, when I'm with a female in a relationship, I'm not missing out.
But my attraction really has nothing to do with how you look on the outside. Yeah. If you're cool on the inside, then I'll be more than happy and willing to do anything on the outside.
We're emotional sluts, bisexual.
Yes. Oh God,
it's beautiful. Hugo, zodiac sign, Gemini with a Scorpio moon. His passions are his 2 adorable children. A sexual orientation?
I navigated this, in the early coming out sexually, finding out who I was in the late 70s and the early 80s. So it was a completely different time, much more homophobic, much more violent. It was really a very closeted life. I had a high school girlfriend. I knew I was attracted to men, and I grew up very near a huge military base. And military bases are full of closeted guys who are going to go out and cruise, who were much older than I was. So I had my high school girlfriend who was a year younger than I was. I was 17, she was 16. And I was hooking up with these guys in their 30s and 40s. It was a very different world. I'm so glad that there are more resources for young people today to come out and to learn about their sexuality. And I'm not someone who can have an emotional relationship with a man. It's just not there. I did try dating men. I just couldn't create the biamorous feelings. I don't want to hold hands with you and walk through a museum. I just don't want to do it because it feels weird.
Yeah. You're shaking the table and shaking the camera. I like your passion. I'm just like not on the table. Boundaries, people. Boundaries.
Being bi doesn't mean also being poly, right?
No.
When I fantasize about the person I'm going to end up with, I don't think persons I'm going to end up with. I don't have a man or a woman picture in my mind. Just a great life partner. My bi dude friend, he's bi, but he definitely wants to end up with a woman and have kids and that whole thing. Life is but searching for happiness, right? And I think for me, the way that I am the most happy is when I feel like I am being the most myself.
Are you expecting to have threesomes? That's so reductive. I mean, that's such a teensy part of the whole world.
He wants to have 5 sons.
5 sons. 7 sons.
And then sons.
And the other question is, how are you going to be with, the men? I'll chill in a euphemistic way with both men and women. I only want to do the Netflix part for the girl.
Make it easier for young bisexual people to come out.
Even the terms like bisexual, which are so useful to us, they cease to be useful to them because it's just like, why? I
feel like a teenage kid would be they would react less weirdly to using the word pan. There have been more bisexual references in pop culture, even just in the last few years. There's more and more. The conversation is starting.
in all my stories, I always have a bisexual character. It's never something that's talked about, it's just something that just happens.
I look, all of these questions and all of the labels and all the stuff is sadly like the pain we have to endure in order to eventually unite and shed them. The goal is that we don't need them at all. And I can see this being like a time capsule sent to the future, and like our future like lineage watching this and being like, I can't believe this conversation. We have to talk about this.
And now it's about that time where we're realizing, okay, we just need to talk about everything. Then the next generation will continue the conversation to the point that it no longer needs to be a conversation. Everyone's just on the same page. It's like, yeah, people are just going to like people.
Yeah.
Like the united colors of
The lighting is
sexuality.
I think bisexuality, pansexuality, I think is one of the most beautiful things. So I would urge anyone who has like icky feelings about it to just ask questions. Everyone's sexuality is different. Everyone's sort of gender identity isn't, perfectly fit into any box. And make a bi friend.
You got a friend in me.
Give yourself permission to be who you are. It took me a very long time to get to the place where I realized, all right, I'm a very sexual person. I'm not a monogamous person. I'm attracted to both men and women. And that's part of who I am, and that's probably never going to change without shame or apology or embarrassment. That will upset a lot of people, especially in my generation. But the reward is so tremendous because there's so much authenticity in it. This is who I am. When my children are older, that's who they will find out who their father is, regardless of who their dad likes to sleep with. And they probably aren't going to want to spend a lot of time thinking about that, and I'm not going to give them details. It's never too late. Never too late.
Just understand why you want what you want. So that way, regardless of what other people think or what other people want to force upon you or teach upon you, you know what you'll take and you know what you can't take. And that goes beyond just your own sexual preference. It just goes into what you want to do for your life, what you want to do for the world, what you want to do for your family, your friends. Love who you want to love. Let others love whoever the fuck they want to love. And just live your life the way you want to live it.
Yeah, so long as you're not hurting anybody else. Don't hurt nobody. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for facilitating.
Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us, and we'd love to hear your comments. You can comment below. If you want to date any of these lovely people, let me know because I'm the filter. But bring it on. What you
Vicky's
got?
the bi pimp.
Goodbye, wing woman. All right, goodbye.
Okay.